Good morning, Shindo here. Now I'm going to do this story, and I'm not going to do it saying that there's any credibility to this story about Donald Trump. I don't know if this ever happened or not. I think the fact that this story is being addressed at all is just an indication of how insane this world is getting. This is unbelievable that this is being discussed about the man who will be the most powerful man in the world, and the fact that people are inclined to believe it tells you everything about the world in which we now live. You can brush this off as a joke. You can say that this is just some kind of epic troll. Maybe it is. The fact that it has made the mainstream media speaks volumes of what kind of world in which we live. And folks, if you find it funny, and if you just shrug your shoulders about crap like this, you're part of this problem in which we live. We live in a world that is this sick, that is this corrupt, and this bizarre. Yes, I am going to talk about Donald Trump and the possibility that he paid hookers to urinate on him. This is from Newsweek, a actual fairly well-regarded magazine. Trump, Russian spies, and the infamous golden shower memos. The story began making its rounds in Washington dinner parties late last summer. Donald Trump had been caught in compromising sexual positions by Russian intelligence agents during a business trip in Moscow. According to one version, by high-ranking Obama administration diplomat, Russian intelligence services, acting on Donald Trump's well-known obsession with sex, had arranged an evening for him with a bevy of hookers with hidden cameras and microphones recording all the action. The jaw-dropping detail that topped the story: Trump had somehow engaged in golden showers, a sex act involving urine. Folks, our media is going to be talking about this today. The media in the United States is going to be discussing whether or not Donald Trump had paid money to have prostitutes urinate on him. That this is the discussion we're going to be having about the President of the United States in 9 days. Now, according to the leaked annex to the combined U.S. intelligence agency, Kremlin intrigues in the American elections, Russian security agents watched Trump engaging in, quote, perverted sexual acts that were arranged, monitored by the SSB, unquote. The Kremlin's leading spy agency, the FSB, it said employed a number of prostitutes to perform golden showers, urination shows in front of him. Not only that, according to the report's anonymous Russian source, Trump deliberately chose for his escapade the Ritz-Carlton, where he knew President and Miss Obama, whom he hated, had stayed at one of the official trips, had stayed on their official trip to Russia, and defiling the bed where they had slept, unquote. The veracity of the report and its sourcing have not been verified. The veracity of the report has not been verified. But here we are discussing it. They had a CNN reporter discussing it. So, since it's been on CNN, it's going to be discussed. CNN reported only that the two-page summary of the report, quote, was presented last week in Barack Obama and President-elect Trump, and included allegations that Russian operatives claims to have been compromised personal and financial information about Mr. Trump, unquote. It cited, quote, multiple U.S. officials with direct knowledge of the briefings, unquote. It said the FBI was investigating. BuzzFeed published what it said was the full report, quote, compiled by a person who had claimed to be a former British intelligence official. CNN, what in the world were you thinking to run this story? What possible end outcome were you looking for, CNN, besides Donald Trump coming after you, whether the story is true or whether the story is not true? Donald Trump is going to destroy you when he becomes president. It's like I've discussed with my wife. It's people nowadays, they want to be destroyed. They desire it. They're looking for it. CNN must want to be destroyed by Donald Trump. On Tuesday night, Trump denied the report on a Twitter post without referring to its detail. Quote, all caps, fake news, total political witch hunt, exclamation point, he wrote. Former acting CIA Director John McLaughlin also raised a yellow flag about the report, which he said he had not yet read. Quote, the two things I'd most like to know are, one, what is the chain of acquisition? It was apparently circulus. That always holds clues on whether someone has an agenda and what that might be, he told Newsweek in an email. Who the author is it someone with experience and skill at vetting sources or someone less so? Without knowing these things, he added, it is impossible to judge, unquote. If the report had merely added a fringe of kink to Trump's recorded quote, bragging about kissing, groping, and trying to have sex with women, unquote, as described by the Washington Post, when it unearthed the videotape last summer, the president-elect and his devoted followers might have been able to brush it off as just another eccentricity by their idol. Indeed, an early abbreviated version of the newly reported allegations by Mother Jones magazine, Washington bureau chief David Korn in October cited, quote, a former senior intelligence officer for a Western country who specialized in Russian counterintelligence, unquote, roused only passing titillating interest. But repackaged and expanded on by U.S. intelligence, the new report adds heft to what some fear explains Trump's otherwise inexplicable fondness for the Kremlin, perhaps America's leading antagonist. According to the report's anonymous sources, quote, Trump's unorthodox behavior in Russia over the years provided the authorities with enough embarrassing material on the now Republican presidential candidate to be able to blackmail him if they so wished, unquote. Blackmail would elevate the story from tawdry sex to national security, and the reports underscored what U.S. intelligence had been saying for weeks with far less effects. Trump and his inner circle have accepted a regular flow of intelligence from the Kremlin, including on his Democratic and other political rivals. CNN report exploded like a star shell Tuesday night, throwing a blinding light on the Trump camp's Russian connections like no other previous revelation. The cable channel cautioned that, quote, the allegations came in part from memos compiled by former British intelligence operative whose past work U.S. intelligence officials consider credible, unquote, but had not independently confirmed. Quote, the memos originated as opposition research, first commissioned by anti-Trump Republicans and later by Democrats, unquote, CNN reported. But the channel added that the FBI, quote, is investigating the credibility and accuracy of these allegations, which are based primarily on information from Russian sources, unquote. Unbelievable. To be sure, there was business side to the sordid revelations. Quote, the Kremlin cultivation operation on Trump, the U.S. intelligence report said, included offering him very lucrative real estate development business deals in Russia, especially in relation to the ongoing 2018 World Cup soccer tournament. However, so far, for reasons unknown, Trump has not taken up any of these, unquote. The report also detailed Moscow's interest in the Clintons. Reports on Hillary Clinton were collated by Director K of FSB spy agency, quote, for many years. It said, quote, dating back to her husband Bill's presidency, unquote, but not much of it was found by bugging Clinton's hotel rooms, the sources said. The spies recorded no, quote, golden showers or, quote, unorthodox or embarrassing behavior from countless hours eavesdropping on Clinton and her retinue. The best they could come up with was, quote, things she had said which contradicted her current positions on various issues, unquote. Whether the new report has enough blasting power to permanently damage or even derail the incoming Trump administration remains to be seen. It may even turn out to be a phony, yet another concoction by Russian intelligence to throw American politics into another round of chaos. The only thing it proves is that sex sells scandal in America like nothing else. Okay, well, now I'm going to have, of course, as I always do, a link to this in the description box. I will warn you that it is playing havoc with my computer this morning. I've had to reload it several times just to get through this. But, folks, when we live in a country where the future president of the United States can have the media speak and about something like this that he may or may not have done, it just shows you where we are. Donald Trump is the Caligula of the United States of America. It's bizarreness that is so outside of the pale. I don't even know what to say. The fact that they even feel that that the story may be able to be run on a major news network. It's not just CNN, folks. It's not just CNN, and it's not just Trump. It's the whole bizarreness that we live in now, that this is even being discussed. And here I am doing my own discussion of it. I can't ignore something like this, shrug my shoulders, because it is indicative of the culture in which we now live. And it's the culture that deserves to be destroyed. It is the end of the age. And I can tell you that Donald Trump is going to bring it in. And I can tell you that Donald Trump is going to bring in this chaos, this end, with gusto, with a bang. This is Shindo. Have a good Wednesday.